Welcome everyone to the second episode of a trip down memory lane on RetroDude. Today, we're going to be looking at the compact cassette, a buying guide, its backstory, and really what cassettes to get, what types, and all that thingamajig. Anyways, it's time we rolled the intro. Let's continue. Now today, I'm going to do a bit of a backstory of the cassette just so we can know a lot about it. Anyways, let's fast forward back to 1963. So the DC International cassette from Grundig had already launched and was kind of seeing success, but the 8-track, on the other hand, was providing huge competition with its practicality. However, though Philips, they launched in 1963 the compact cassette, and well, at first it didn't see that much success, but it was actually later found to be quite easy to put. You just pop in a cassette, press the play button, close the lid, and you're good to go. Now, another thing was that there were some aspects to why the compact cassette had launched. So, yeah, unfortunately I don't have any cassette deck to show all of this, but here's what happened. Back to the story though, the 8-track was flawed and later failed, and the DC International was a flop. So in 1967, Philips decided to take advantage of this stuff and stick stereo into the compact cassette, thus making 8-track useless. Sony also played a huge factor in the compact cassette, and from all there, it was all uphill. Now it's time for a buying guide for all of this, just so you can know which cassette deck to get. This one here is a 1963 Sanyo, and the other is a 70s. This one I'm going to try to test. Avoid that gesture there because that was before I repaired it. I'm also going to show you guys the 70s cassette player. My Walkman fell in the background. And yeah, let's get going to the 60s cassette player. I was barely able to repair my 60s cassette player. That's why the audio sounds a bit distorted. So yeah, on my 60s, the audio quality is muffled, even if it would work normally. But it's just a mono deck from the 60s, so it was pretty early in the compact cassette stage. Let's move on to my 70s deck, which is in perfect condition. Listen to a bit of the audio. I really don't want to get content matched on YouTube, so yeah, I'm not going to play this for a long time. Now, don't try getting any of these cassette decks, like I said before, as these are very scarce. They also have hard to find parts and belts. I was barely able to source, actually, I wasn't able to source a belt. But now moving on to my Walkman, this is the holy grail. Always get a cassette deck from these times. Why? Just listen to the audio and listen how the 90s basically was the cassette's prime time. Always try getting a cassette unit from the 90s or no later, because that's in its peak day. Now, I also got a brand new cassette deck that is horrible. They only manufacture these in China, and they barely have any features. They're just those cheap tiny cassette decks that have a lot of wow and flutter. Let's just show you what I mean. Now, I'm going to show you also what type of cassette to get. Different types of cassettes depend on their audio. The first one and most common type, You guessed it, is that brown tape called the ferric tape. These are the most common tapes you'd find. Like, I don't know, in your grandma's closet, grandpa's shoebox, I don't know. However, though, there's also a Type 2 cassette which has better audio quality, which you can identify specifically by its black tape in comparison to the brown tape. There's also a third type called the ferrochromium, and there's the metal. But anyways, that's all I have for this video because I don't know anything else other than that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and have a good time watching YouTube. I'm pretty sure, yeah,